Okay, welcome back to Honeybee generation tutorial number 2. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to add a PV generator to a piece of context geometry. So come into geometry, let's add it to this piece of context geometry here. Oops, okay, that wasn't what I wanted. Just zoom in. Yeah, okay. We need to, I'll explain that in a minute. Okay, so set it, yes, okay, good. So we're in, yep, so we've got this piece of geometry here. Now we need to select surfaces within, that was not what I wanted. Okay, we'll just do select Honeybee Item Selector. So we just want to, and this is always a bit of, oh, right, I need to decompose the B-rep because we want to select actual surfaces within, yeah, we want to select actual surfaces of this geometry here, or this B-rep. So now, so first you need to decompose it. Yeah, just, okay, so now, yep, faces of the B-rep. Okay, so we should be able to, this is always a bit of trial and error. Okay, those are the, yeah, okay, that will do. So we've got this, we're going to put a PV generator on this surface here. So, first what you need to do is you need to actually create a Honeybee surface. So come up to here and create a, sometimes there's just too many components in Honeybee. Yeah, create a Honeybee context surface, so connect that in here. Okay, now you've got one. Okay, so although it's actually one surface here, it's decomposed into 4, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect you know, your simulation. So then we just do the same thing that we did before in the previous tutorial. We just need to, oh, I shouldn't have grouped that. We'll just copy this. Oh, no. Okay, why? I'm sorry about that. I had to restart Rhino and Grasshopper because all my Grasshopper commands were going to Rhino, so I couldn't copy and paste like this. So if you have that trouble, the best way is to just restart the whole thing. So where were we? We're putting a PV generator on a context surface. So we're putting a PV generator on this. That's also changed. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Alright, just a minute here. Yep, there we go. So we're putting PV generator on that surface there. So I've just copied and pasted the PV generator that we had previously. I've just copied and pasted it down. So now we just link up those, that one surface. Okay, and what it's saying here is that you need, if you've only got one surface, you need to only have one value at most. There we go. Otherwise it won't work. So now we've got a PV generator on this surface here. So let's connect that to our PV generator system. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. Oh, and it's also connected to the same inverter. So we've got several PV generators here connected to the same Honeybee generation system. So the next part is, before we connect this up to Energyplus, you can't run your PV generators correctly, or you can't calculate their energy yield correctly unless you put in the shading. So to put in the shading, we need to put in all the context geometry. So how do we do that? Well, what we do is we convert all this geometry here into Honeybee Honeybee surfaces. So let's select all the trees. So these are deciduous. Oh, actually that one's not a deciduous. So these are all the deciduous trees. So we've got all the deciduous trees here. And then we get all the evergreen trees. Okay. And then, so our, okay, which ones are, okay, so this is our honeybee zone. So we're interested in, we need to also put all the buildings in. So we get this one here, and we select all these. It's not that one yet. Okay. Okay, right. There we go. Select all those buildings. So those are the buildings. So we'll just call this buildings. Call this evergreen trees. And we'll call this, actually I can't spell, but deciduous trees. I know I can't spell. So we've got that. We also need to put in the landscape. So select one geometry, put in the landscape. Okay, so now we need to make honeybee context surfaces out of each of these. So copy that down, copy that down, copy that down. Okay, deciduous trees, in we go. Okay, that's, you can't have meshes at this stage. Honeybee context doesn't like meshes, so let me just pause the video where I'll fix that up, convert the mesh to a B-rep. Okay, we're back. So the issue there was one of these trees was a mesh and not a B-rep, and Honeybee context won't accept meshes at the moment, so you just need to convert that mesh into a B-rep. Okay, so we've got the deciduous trees here, and we're creating Honeybee context surfaces. Then we've got these evergreen trees, and we're creating more context surfaces. Okay, and then we've got buildings, and then the landscape. You can also put, with the deciduous trees, it would make sense to put a transmittance schedule in, because obviously they're, you know, they lose their leaves in winter. But we're running out of time, so we'll just leave that for now. So, oops. Okay, so now we've got all these surfaces. So the next part will be coming up to Energyplus. So this is where these PV generators are going to be simulated. So let's bring this Honeybee zone over to Energyplus. Okay, then what you do with your Honeybee generation system, to which these Honeybee generators are connected, are part of, connect that in there to Honeybee generators. We'll need our EPW file. So yeah, open EPW, boolean. Okay, and now what we have to do here is connect these context surfaces to this EP context. But what you have to note is we've got a problem here with, we put in, with the deciduous trees, we put in 5 B-reps, and we got out 1,520 untrimmed surfaces. So Honeybee context converts these B-reps into all their constituent surfaces which make them up, and then each surface is written into Energyplus. Now the problem with that is if you've got 1,520 surfaces, it's going to take a long time to compute. So with the trees, although it's not the most accurate, unless you've really got, you know, a beast of a computer, you'd be better just going true to the just get bounding box, and what you do is you get a box that represents the tree. Now that brings the surfaces down to just 30 surfaces, so that's a lot more manageable. With the evergreen trees, we've got the same issue. Okay, so again, bring this here. Okay, and we've got 18. That's way more manageable. With buildings, okay, we've got 196, and with landscape, we've got 45. So all up, we're looking at maybe 300 context surfaces. Now, a note with the buildings, like I said before, you really have to try and get your model in such a way so that the number of surfaces going into the Honeybee context is reduced as much as possible. Otherwise, simulation is going to take a long time. So with the buildings, these buildings I have here, just get out of the preview, are not actually the original buildings. I had the original buildings are actually more complicated. You know, they've got chimneys and things, but I simplified the model just to try and get the number of surfaces down. So I'd really recommend that you do that. So now you can connect these up to EP context. Okay. And we can simulate need Ladybug. Okay, it should work now. And even still, this simulation will probably take a while. So I'll just pause it while it runs. Okay, so we're back and the simulation finished. And it took around 20 minutes. So as you can imagine, the less Honeybee context surfaces going into Honeybee context, the better, because it really pushes up the simulation time. If I was to disconnect this one, I'm sure it would only take like 2 to 3 to maybe 6 minutes. So this video is getting quite long now, so we'll end this video, and in the next and final video I'll show you how to analyze the data from your Energyplus simulation, to analyze both the energy and the financial data, and also look at creating wind turbines. So see you then.